Good afternoon, good evening. It's time for another mock draft. Obviously, huge change coming with the news today. I'm sure you've heard. If you haven't, Cam Akers, unfortunately, tore his Achilles, done for the year, if not longer. So let's see how that impacts the draft tonight. What's up, Jeremy, Mr. Cam Akers?
Oh man. Oh
Oh, what a day. What a day.
yeah, when you lose 3 first-round picks in one day,
The
that
sad thing
hurts.
is, the sad thing is will not be the only one. There was going to be more. Maybe not as brutal as the one today. But there's going to be more injuries. So
Yeah, that one just really hurt. You didn't get any playing time. You didn't even get to see him run. So you only got you only have what you potentially thought Cam Akers was for you this season. To and I was thinking he was at least like a decent RB2 with the upsides to maybe be an RB1. And he was going to do that not only for me this season, but a couple more seasons down the road.
yeah, that's the scary thing. What is the future for Cam Akers? It's not like an ACL or something like that where it's like, okay, his season's over, but he'll eventually be back. It's like, will he be back? And if he is, will he be close to the same? That's the scary part.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
I definitely am interested to see how high Daryl Henderson goes tonight, though. That'll be interesting.
I think I know where he will go, and I guess I'll say where I think he should go. Because I think he should be going with like Gaskin, Davis.
Yeah,
I think that would be a good spot for him in our draft.
I agree. I have him ahead. I have him ahead of that Hunt, Gaskin, Davis. I have him at the top of that tier, but yeah, I don't think he should be going ahead of guys like Montgomery or Chris Carson or anything.
Well, my thing with Henderson wasn't the reason he was benched over Akers was just that he's not a great pass catcher. So
Well, I think
he can. He just wasn't great at it.
I think Akers' pass catching was a little blown out of proportion because I think Akers' workload was a little blown out of proportion, to be honest, because not that I agree with you. I think he was like a high end RB2 with RB1 upside.
Yeah.
But he caught, like, everybody's like, oh, look what he did in the last 3 games. And I was like, yeah, Malcolm Brown and Daryl Henderson were out. Like, it was just Cam Akers. If you look at the games, even the game, like if you look at the really good games that Cam Akers had when Henderson was playing, and now if I'm not mistaken, Henderson, even though Henderson was active, he was limited in practice during those weeks with some kind of knee thing. He played, but I don't think he was 100%. But even in those games, like Akers handled the bulk of the carries, but he was only catching like 1 or 2 passes. It wasn't like he was catching, 4 or 5 passes. And like I said, and if you look at, I don't know if you saw a thing I posted in the Discord, but if you look at the games where Henderson was quote unquote the starter, the 6 games, 14 carries, 1.5 receptions. That's kind of what I'm going to expect from him this year.
Yeah.
No matter what they do, whether they like the young guys they have behind them or whether they go out and sign like some veteran, that's what I'm expecting from Henderson. I'm not expecting I'm not like, oh, he's gonna have 20 touches every week. No, he's not.
Chris, wasn't Malcolm Brown though in those games too?
Which ones?
The ones you're giving the stats for there, or no?
Yeah, I'm not now. Malcolm Brown, I'm pretty sure was for all those games. We're talking about the Daryl Henderson games.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if he gets a little bump because now, I mean, if you look behind Daryl Henderson, there's just, I mean, Malcolm Brown wasn't a bad player. So I'm wondering if, you know what I mean? Because Malcolm Brown got, what was it? When Daryl Henderson was like the quote unquote starter, like you said, he got probably like 50% of the work, and Malcolm Brown got the other 50% or 60-40 maybe.
Well, I know at least a few of those games, Akers was active too. But this was back when Akers wasn't getting a lot of work. I mean, yeah, there's a chance that Henderson gets a little bit more, but I just don't like. It's funny because now Pierre and I actually filmed a video, a Cam Akers debate video that was gonna go out tomorrow, which obviously is not gonna go out anymore. And even in that video, I said, dude, I think people are overvaluing how many touches Cam Akers is gonna get. Like, so, like, yeah, could Henderson get a little more? Yeah, I think so, but I don't think the Rams. Even if you look at Gurley only got like 18. Even when Gurley was getting all the work, he was only getting like 18 carries a game. I say only, that's a lot of carries, but we're talking about a guy who was like the only guy who touched the ball in that backfield, basically. Because I think the Rams are going to pass a ton this year. Like, I think they're going to be a top 5. I think they're going to be a top 5 pass attempt offense. So I just don't think there's going to be. I mean, there's going to be, of course, they're going to run the ball more than 20 times a game, but it's not all going to go to Henderson. So I think I view Henderson as more like I said, a 15-2 guy, 15 carries, 2 catches. There will be some weeks where he gets 20 carries and 3 catches, and there will be some weeks where he gets 12 carries and no catches or 1 catch, because that's just how it goes with these guys.
With the goal line work too.
Yeah, who else is getting the goal line work?
That's what. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
who's going to get that's why I like him more than Hunt, Davis, and Gaskin, because we know, this is going to be a great offense. He's probably going to get plenty of goal line opportunities, and who's going to vulture goal line work from him? There's nobody, right?
All right.
So,
all right. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you. Putting him over those guys. The guy I'm kind of. Would you put him over Swift or no?
Well,
that's the one I'm kind of iffy on.
But see, I already have. See, this is the thing. You can't ask me because I already view Swift kind of in that tier. Now, if you're high on Swift, I mean, that's what it really depends. I'm not that high on Swift. I think.
So I'll let you know that my trade target for like offloading Cam Akers, if I could, is Swift.
I mean, I think if you could get DeAndre Swift for Cam Akers, you would do cartwheels.
Yeah, I don't know how you're going to pull that off.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah.
Well, like in Dynasty, like I feel like some people believe that he'll come back and, keep his role. Yeah. And so
the thing I see people saying on Twitter is like, because I don't know, like that thing I posted with, it was like the running backs who had a killer. Yeah. People are like, oh, but Cam Akers is so much more talented than those guys. And I'm like, A, we don't really know that. We think that, but we don't really know that. And B, everybody in the NFL is insanely talented. Yeah, some guys are more talented than others, but more talent in the NFL is a very thin line, right? Like, you make it to the NFL, especially as a running back, you're extremely talented, like insanely talented, right? You're like the top 1% of all running backs in the world or in the United States. So to just say like, well, since he's more talented, he'll be able to come back from it, and those other guys didn't. I'm like, I think, like, look, I hope he does. I like Cam Akers. I liked watching him last year. I thought he was a lot of fun. I was rooting for him this year. Contrary to what Young Money thinks, I was not rooting for his demise. So I hope he does. But again, we're talking about 0 out of however many. So it's, long odds for him.
All right. Before we start, real quick, I guess asking for a friend. For people who have Cam Akers who have already drafted for this year, if they've already done their redrafts, or are in a dynasty or keeper league, what do you do now that you don't have Cam Akers? Do you keep them and wait the year and see what you got, or do you try and offload them, or what would your advice be?
Well, in a redraft league, you're screwed.
Yeah.
He was probably like your first or second rounder, and you can't do anything now. Unless you had Henderson or you're able to grab him off waivers, but you're probably just screwed. Okay, we're going to start a draft because everybody's on. We'll keep this discussion going. Yeah. In a keeper league, there's no way I'm keeping him.
Yeah.
No way. Because again, like, what was he? You know what I mean? I mean, maybe if you're keeping him for like a super late pick or something like that, but probably not. In Dynasty, for me, I get any offer that looks halfway decent, I'm trading them personally.
What's a halfway decent offer?
Picks.
If you can get a first round pick, if you can get a 1 for Cam Akers, yeah.
Oh, I would run. Somebody offered me a 1 for Cam Akers, I'd take it and run.
Yeah, exactly.
Just again because you're banking on a guy doing something that we've never seen a running back do before. Like he might come back and put up like low RB2, RB3 type numbers, but we've never seen a running back come back and be like really, really good from this. So I would just play the percentages and say, you know what? Maybe I get a running back in the draft or something like that. I'll take my chances there. Well, what about Pierre? Let's hear your thoughts on this, Pierre. This is your guy, right? This is your guy. He was your guy last year.
He's been my guy. It's just not going to happen. So before I say anything else, I just want to, I guess, Jeremy, since you're on publicly, thank you for rejecting my trade offer for Cam Akers a couple of weeks ago. So I do appreciate that now. I think I said, okay, so what would you take to get Akers? And his response was a lot. So I was like, okay.
That's how much
so
faith I
do
had
appreciate
in
that.
him. Like
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, like I said earlier, I had him as an RB2 this year with potential of being an RB1. So finishing as an RB1. So I was really high on him. And in Dynasty for me, he was a stopgap because I have Kamara and Henry until I got more picks later down the line. So if Henry or Kamara did fall off for any reason, he was the safety valve. And now that I lost that, I'm in a real big pickle.
Yeah. There's just, I mean, what can you do, right? There's no way around that. I mean, in Dynasty, it's I'd say easier to recover just because, people are willing to make trades, you know what I mean, more easily, and you could probably find a replacement. I mean, in redraft, you got to hope that, whoever took Akers, they didn't also take Darrell Henderson, because you can grab Darrell Henderson, because Darrell Henderson wasn't drafted, probably in redraft a lot of leagues because he wouldn't have had value. So now, you got to hope that you can get Henderson if you had Akers in redraft. But anyways, what Chris was saying is absolutely true. You have to remember they let Malcolm Brown go too. So they don't have Malcolm Brown, and Darrell Henderson is the only guy there. Like, that's it. They're going to sign somebody, but it's pretty much going to be Darrell Henderson because they're not going to bring somebody in to compete for major touches.
What if they bring in Le'Veon Bell?
Look, Gurley, Bell, AP, Sonny Michel, if he gets cut, I don't care. They're washed. Okay. They're washed. Like, yeah, they'll get their 8 touches, 10 touches or whatever it might be. They might not even beat out these young guys that the Rams seem to like. We don't know. Like, I'm not worried about that. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing though, because we talked about this less than 24 hours ago when we made our whole video just about Cam Akers, that, they're going to pass a lot. They already passed a lot, even last year, the year before, when it was like, the corpse of Todd Gurley when he was still there, but not really there. And, when, last year, remember 2 years ago, Jared Goff led the NFL in pass attempts. All right. So they were pass heavy already. And even last year, he was passing the ball like 36 times a game. And everyone says, oh, it was such a bad year for him. He wasn't terrible, but still obviously not what they wanted. But they were still passing the ball a lot. Now with Stafford, forget it. They're going to pass the ball 40 plus times a game. So, I mean, yeah, you got to buy into all the receivers there. I'm curious to see about Henderson, where people will value him, because I know where I have him, but I'm curious to see the perception if he's going to jump way up farther than he should, because he's not Cam Akers. There's a reason that they drafted Cam Akers and then Akers was the starter. Henderson is good, and he's going to be a good fantasy player, but he's not a top 10 running back. But
yeah, and the other thing I worry with Henderson is he's not very big, and he gets nicked up a lot, right? So he gets nicked up a lot. So I don't think, and like the Rams learned from Gurley, like they learned their lesson with Gurley. Like that's another reason why I thought people were a little bit too high on Cam Akers touches. Like I don't think the Rams were looking at Cam Akers and thinking like, let's just run this guy into the ground like we did with Todd Gurley, right? I think Henderson was going to have a decent role because I think the Rams saw what happened with Gurley and they're like, we need these guys fresh when it matters, right? We need these guys fresh when it matters. So that's why I kind of have Henderson in that, like I said, that 15-2 range, which is fine. That's a great, especially in this offense, that's a great RB2 with tons of upside because, like I said, this should be one of the best offenses in the NFL this year, right? And they're going to have lots of opportunities near the goal line, and it's going to be good for Henderson.
Right. That's the thing is they don't have a big back. Like I said, Malcolm Brown was still there. You say, okay, well, it's the two of them. He's not. And everybody else they have was like an undrafted free agent or they don't have anybody. So they're going to have to sign somebody, but whoever they sign, you know, how much value they're really going to get out of him. So if there's a guy that unless they sign somebody relatively known or experienced, you know.
I thought they had 2 7th-round picks, one from 2020 and one from 2021.
Yeah, but what are they going to do with a 7th-round pick?
That's basically like an undrafted guy.
You mean the running? You mean the running backs? The other running backs?
Yeah. I think they have Henderson
like Xavier Jones or something.
They have Xavier Jones and that funky guy or whatever. But here's the
Funky
thing.
guy.
Here's the thing. Whatever his name is, Fuki. What's his name? How do you pronounce his name?
No, it's right, but it's just the way you said it.
I thought it was just funk.
We're talking about 7th-round picks. Like, I get it. Like, you can name these 7th-round picks who had value, but what gave them the value was literally the team had to play these guys. Like Myles Gaskin, they had to play that guy. James Robinson, I mean, he was undrafted, but they had to play him. So, yes, maybe if Darrell Henderson gets hurt and one of these guys comes in and plays great, sure. But that's what these guys are now handcuffs. You know what I mean? And that assumes, again, that the Rams don't go sign a veteran who, you know, now relegates these guys back to nothingness. So
yeah, the guy I kind of like, who I looked at last year, I thought maybe is Raymond Calais. I think he used to be with Tampa, and then they let him go. But you know, he's got some elusiveness, so he's interesting. You know, if they don't sign somebody, or you know, if Henderson gets hurt, that would be the guy I guess I would maybe pick up. But that's like a dynasty stash at best.
Yeah. And how did we just have an entire round of wide receivers and then Jeremy did we all feel bad for Jeremy? So we let him have Antonio Gibson at the 3-2? Like, what is going on here?
We had a whole round of running backs almost, and then a round of
I mean, I guess
receivers.
Cam Akers is no longer available, so now it's like we get.
Now I'm going 0 RB. That's it. I'm in mourning all year, so I'm just not drafting any running backs just to honor him.
Just ever in any draft ever.
Ever.
God.
What's up, fellas?
What's up, Marquise?
How's it going?
Good.
Hey, how you doing?
Terrible.
Wait a minute.
Well, I hope nobody gets timed out auto picks because you know who you're going to wind up with.
Yeah, exactly.
Next on the board after Joe Mixon goes.
I know. It's like, actually, I was torn between Cup and a running back, but I won't name him yet. Because this is ridiculous.
Joe Henderson?
Yeah.
It's the curse of the Rams running backs. First it was Todd Gurley, and now it's Cam Akers. Auto picks for life.
Okay. Obviously, I did not want Cam Akers to get hurt. Again, contrary to what Young Money.
No. I was just reading about for sleeper because it always auto picks Todd Gurley.
Oh yeah.
Cam Akers.
Oh, but Pierre and I were talking because there's a guy who writes for Rotoballer who Pierre still is the editor for, and I used to write for. And he literally tweeted out yesterday, Cam Akers over Saquon Barkley in 2021.
Yeah,
said,
bad timing on that.
Well, regardless of that, I said, look, this guy, he was arguing with me that Saquon Barkley is too injury prone, so he's staying away. And I'm like, didn't Cam Akers miss like 3/4 of the season with injury? Like he got injured, like not only did he get hurt early in the year, he then came back and got hurt again. Like this is a lesson for you, Austin. Where do you draw the line? Like
I was just about to say, when did I start writing for Rotoballer?
I'm like, wait, so you're gonna tell me Saquon Barkley is injury prone, but literally a guy last year who like got hurt twice in his rookie season is fine, not injury prone at all.
Yeah,
and then he goes out and tears his Achilles. So
You know who I was really high on before he tore his Achilles was Deontay Foreman.
See,
Me too.
I
okay.
liked him a lot.
Okay, I'm glad you brought him up because he's the lesson for the Cam Akers. Oh, but he's so much more talented than these other guys. A lot of people back then were really high on Dante Foreman and thought he was a really talented player, and then he tore his Achilles. And now we look back and it's like, oh, maybe he's not talented because he didn't do anything. It's hard to say a guy's talented when we barely saw him play. You know what I mean?
Why is talent the argument? Talent has nothing to do with an injury, though.
Well, no, but people are saying well, these other running backs weren't very good, so maybe Cam Akers can be the one running back to come back from an Achilles just because of his talent. That's what people are actually arguing. And I'm not.
It doesn't make any sense.
I know, and I'm talking about smart people, and I'm using air quotes, like people who tweet out fantasy football stuff and write articles, and they're actually saying this. And I'm just like, that's like me saying, you know what? I think there's a chance, I don't know. Who's the worst? There's a chance. I think there's a chance that the Texans can win the Super Bowl next year because, they're just going to be so upset that, everybody's sleeping on. They're going to go out there and win the Super Bowl. Come on. Come on. I don't know how
Do you look at his age as a factor since he did it while he was still pretty young?
Well, Foreman was 22?
Foreman, wasn't it his rookie year he got hurt?
He was a rookie.
Yeah, Foreman was super young too.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Akers, honestly, I wouldn't sell him just for
Chris, you're on the
nothing in
clock.
Dynasty.
I know.
We try to get at least a second round pick or a player, but I mean, holding on and hoping there's no point. You sell him to the guy that thinks he's buying low. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
You guys for real gonna let me get Clyde here? I mean,
I almost took him. there.
God.
I almost took him there. But I know in these drafts, I know the running backs that are coming back to me. I'm okay with it. People say oh, Saquon Barkley ACL or this player ACL. Lots of guys come back from ACL and are fine. Achilles, that's the kiss of death. That is the kiss of death.
Well, it's a ligament versus a tendon. They just heal so differently.
And not only that, your Achilles, dude, that's you can't even walk without an Achilles. You can limp around on a torn ACL. I remember Jordy Nelson walked off the field on a torn ACL. And everybody's oh, he's gonna be fine. Look, he's walking off the field. And then the next day they're yeah, torn ACL. You're not moving with a torn Achilles. You're getting carried. You know what I mean? You can't and now you got to come back and try to run and cut and do all that stuff. Man.
Not unless you Kobe Bryant.
But even Kobe there's 2 careers of Kobe Bryant. I mean, there's a huge long career where he was incredible, and then there's the post Achilles, and he wasn't nearly as good. Yeah, he had some moments, but he wasn't the same. And that's it's also basketball.
That's true.
So basketball, you can when you age, when you age, you can start, working on the fadeaway. You can start doing other things to produce. Right? You don't have to necessarily be a guy who drives to the hoop and does all that stuff. If you're a running back, you can't be out there trying to plod through the hole. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you saw how explosive Kobe was prior to it. And when he came back, I mean, he was still a great player, but he was largely a jump shooter when he came back.
Yeah, he doesn't have that explosiveness anymore.
And you don't have that option to be a jump shooter as a running back.
Oh, you got to explode through the hole, make the cuts. You have to do that. That's why, because the thing I posted, or maybe I didn't post it, but I saw something where they showed the rate and for wide receivers, QBs, tight ends, it was still bad, but it was okay, there's a decent chance that if you're a very good player, you can come back from this and still be productive. But running back, it was almost no chance, because that's all running back is, right? That's all. It's just burst. It's just cut and burst. That's all running back is.
It's all legs. Yeah, in basketball, you could shoot. You could still shoot even with no legs.
What? Who just?
There it is.
Sneakers.
Wow, what a steal.
It was auto pick.
Was it auto? He's not on auto.
He timed out.
It showed auto.
I think he timed out. Like
That was a
I
great
think
pick.
he's on.
That was a
I
great
was saying that's a
pick.
steal at the 412. Damn, we just did
Akers is
first
a
round.
4-12. Okay, I gotta. Where is this guy? Hold on.
Try and pause it. Yeah.
Yeah, we can't have a Cam Akers pick. Also, I want to say I kind of feel like I feel kind of guilty because yesterday I posted in the Discord. I just want one day where we don't talk about Swift, Dobbins, or Dylan. But I didn't mean I wanted to spend all day talking about Cam Akers because he tore his Achilles. So
I blame you, Chris. I blame you.
I'm like, oh well, we haven't talked about Dobbins, Dylan, or Swift today, and I kind of wish we were. Kind of wish we were instead.
I mean, I'm upset. I only got 3 first-round picks from Jeremy, and not 4 first-round picks.
That's so brutal. So brutal. So brutal.
Yeah, that's how high I was on Cam Akers for everyone out there.
All right, I'm gonna give him. It doesn't look like he's on, but I gotta give him. I'm gonna give him. Who should I give him? Miles Sanders.
Yeah, either Jacobs or Sanders, probably.
Go highest ranked. Give him Jacobs.
All right, that's fine.
Well, actually, he's got 2 picks, so
I know what's
one
gonna
running
happen.
back, 1 receiver.
All right. Well, the highest ranked receiver is Jamar Chase.
Chase.
Yeah.
All right, let's get this going. Although Bill's probably upset that Jamar Chase just went, and Jacobs.
Okay. Well,
Whoa, I didn't even realize Jeremy has 3 RBs. Wow. Is this like you're so distraught about Cam Akers? You're like the anti-PR. You're just going to draft all running backs?
no, I just figured Montgomery's I think will be a value there. I think that's where he'll at least finish there. So him in my flex spot is not a bad thing, although it does cap my upside a little bit. And so far my choosing of running backs have led to injury. So little safety nets never hurts.
All right. Well, here's a question, Francis. This is actually a tough question in the YouTube chat. Maybe you guys can weigh in on it for him. So it's a keeper league. It's a straight keeper, full PPR, like no tight end premium. You keep in Darren Waller or Mike Evans?
Oh, Waller. Easy.
Evans.
So we have one Waller, one Evans. We have an easy
wait.
Waller.
So it doesn't like there's no pick implications, like it's gonna affect the pick.
It's just a straight keeper. You keep one and not the other. And no tight end premium, just full PPR, which for Waller almost doesn't matter. I kind of lean Waller too, honestly.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Waller.
But it scares me to say Waller.
I think he'll have a position advantage over most people in the league.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, it's not like Waller's out producing Evans just in terms of total points. So it's basically to get that advantage at the position at tight end. But Evans is, I think, a little bit younger.
Yeah, but it's a keeper league. It's year to year. It's not like dynasty.
Yeah.
Right. It's not
Wait.
like
I don't know. I just don't know with the Raiders. I feel like this year, yeah, Waller will still be a stud. I mean, I guess if you're not worried about next year, but
yeah,
next year, who knows what the Raiders are going to look like?
There he goes.
There's the answer to the question.
I thought he was gonna fall to me.
Yeah, no, I was gonna take him myself actually. So.
We were talking in Discord earlier about him. People were saying 3, and I said 4. So I'm like, well, if he falls to me at the 5, I might as well take him.
No, I think that's great for him.
Yeah, I think that's where he should go. So
I don't know, because I'm looking at Kareem Hunt or James Robinson or Javante. Like, I kind of see them all on the same level, like where they kind of all have the same question marks of like, what's the word?
Like market share of touches.
Yeah, market share. Like, how much opportunity they'll
Even-
get. So
After you get Gaskin, you get exactly right. Guys like Hunt, Robinson, and all them, they're all in it. In their timeshare, or they have somebody who's going to cut into their production. And Henderson right now doesn't. Like if they sign somebody significant, that might change. But Henderson, like I think I have Henderson now a little bit ahead of Gaskin.
Yeah, that's what I was saying in the beginning. I have Gaskin, or I mean, I have Henderson ahead of Gaskin, Davis, and Hunt.
Yeah.
But
I also think
after Montgomery and Edwards-Helaire.
so. Pierre, I was going to ask you this since you're the Dolphins fan. Malcolm Brown going to affect Gaskin at all, or no?
He will. They already said, or said they have a
Yeah.
plan for him. He's going to get the ball in short yardage, which also means goal line. You know what I mean? He's the bigger back. He's more experienced back. So that's why I worry Gaskin's, upside for touchdowns is like maybe 6. And I don't think Gaskin's going to be a 20 touch, per game kind of player necessarily. So he's solid. He's fine because he's got a good role, but yeah, he's not going to be maybe a featured back. So I'd rather have David Montgomery.
I was surprised no one picked up Malcolm Brown in our dynasty league. I mean, I picked him up. I don't think he got drafted.
Yeah, our league's not that deep. That's what I was saying. Like when you asked about Funky or whatever his name is,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, I think in like a deeper dynasty league, he's worth picking up, and maybe for your team, Austin, he's worth picking up because it's not like who would you drop? I don't even know.
Oh no, my goal is to like trade him at some point for like a 2nd round pick. Like that's my whole goal of him being on my roster. I have no actual purpose for him no use for him in my starting lineup.
No, but like when I look at my team, I'm like, no, I'm not dropping anybody for him. Like I don't think our dynasty league is deep enough for that, personally. So, but yeah, but going back to Henderson, like, yeah, I agree. I think like Gaskin, Hunt, Davis, and Henderson, I think are all going to see like similar workloads. The reason why I have Henderson ahead again is because he's in that incredible offense. He's probably going to have the most touchdown upside. I mean, Hunt has a lot of touchdown upside too, but he's competing with Nick Chubb. Darrell Henderson's competing with Funky and Xavier Jones. Like, you know what I mean? So.
And Raymond Calais.
Yeah, Raymond Calais. Like, I think Chubb's a little better than those guys.
A little bit.
I will say I probably should have taken Sanders over Hunt, honestly. 5.9 for Sanders, geez. See, this is why I went Thielen over CEH, Austin, because I know, like look at these running backs. What the heck, Elgin?
I agree, but I'm good with Galladay as my 3. So
well,
I know we defer on that. Personally, I'm good with him.
I am not good with Galladay as my 3.
See, I look at him and Thielen very similarly.
Oh, I do not.
Yeah,
At all.
they do not.
Thielen will score a lot more touchdowns.
Thielen, I think, is just a lot more safer.
Claypool, Waddle, Debo.
You say that now, but when he ends up with 14 touchdowns next year, we'll see.
You think Daniel Jones is throwing that man 14 touchdowns?
We'll see. Could have been the missing link. We'll see.
How many touchdowns did Daniel Jones have last year?
I know you've told
Probably like 12.
but he had the best deep ball percentage.
Oh my! Adam
Oh,
Steele was in
God.
here.
That's true. The
If
problem
he only
is
had somebody to catch the ball. That's what we're gonna see.
actually Daniel Jones only had 11 because I think they had 12 passing touchdowns, but I think didn't Sterling Shepard throw a touchdown? If I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
I think
That sounds
11
about right.
touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
Yeah, I think Sterling Shepard threw a touchdown. So they had 12 passing touchdowns, but Daniel Jones only had 11 of them. That's pretty bad. It was between Boyd and Claypool for me, so can't hate that pick at least.
I would have taken the one you didn't take either way. So if you would have gone Claypool, I was going to go Boyd. So
Yeah, it was between those two for me. Wow. Daniel Jones has been bad. Like, I mean, I knew he was bad, but now I'm looking at his numbers. It's like, holy crap.
when you look at that quarterback class, having him and Haskins both go in the top 15, it's an ugly class.
I mean, how about Daniel Jones top 5?
Yeah.
I still remember watching the draft live. We were right. Were we online?
Yeah, we were.
Chris, and yeah, Chris, he was so happy when that pick. He was just laughing. He was just like, "God, they did it."
Yeah. So in
I
20,
think Boreas is
he said he was bad. He said it's connect. Oh my gosh! Hold on, let me pause this before he goes out again. So he's gonna take Akers again.
Wow, Akers at the 612.
Damn, that's a good pick.
I mean, we thought he was a value at the 4, but at the 6.
Sheesh. He won the draft.
All right, I'm just gonna give him Cooks because. Well, let's see who's on. I mean, should I give him Josh Allen here? It's a great value.
no.
I mean, Josh Allen's at the top of the board.
Yeah, and give him a tight end.
All right, who's the tight end? Mark Andrews. There.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, Nick?
Hey, Nick.
Well, I would
So-
say he's a value in the 5th, and I'm getting him in the 7th, so I'll take that.
No, that's good value.
Could have had Allen.
Yeah,
QB run right here.
probably.
Don't speak it into existence, please. I
Well,
need
it
one to
should
fall.
be.
All right. So the next
Nick, I was
question is,
gonna-
how high does Aaron Rodgers go? That's what I want to see.
I think he'll still be down there for now.
Good.
So 29. So don't listen to this Stinger. If you're watching this later, Stinger, just fast forward like 2 minutes. So in 27 games, Daniel Jones has 22 interceptions and 29 fumbles. That's literally an interception and a fumble, not just one or the other, one of each in every single game. Like, what
right.
the heck? That is hard to do.
He's just speed running turnovers.
Okay, I really regret giving him Allen because, wow.
I told you, man.
Holy QB run.
No, Chris, why'd you do that?
Nick, I was gonna ask, but I realized you weren't on the chat earlier. So now that you're on,
Yeah.
you took Sutton and Judy back to back,
Yes, I did.
and then
Just
you
'cause
also
it does-
took Williams.
Yeah, I got the Denver stack. I literally did not notice
He's
that till
waiting
just
for that
now.
Aaron Rodgers trade. He's like, come on,
Inside
just
information.
trade him to Denver and I win.
Just got off the phone with the Broncos GM.
John Elway.
Ah.
He's not really the GM anymore, allegedly.
Yeah, what is his actual position? Like, I actually don't know.
I don't know.
He's like president of operations or something.
Yeah, he's the guy the GM goes to when the GM wants to do something and he tells him yes or no.
Got it.
This way, like if he makes bad picks, he can just fire the GM and blame the GM.
Exactly.
It's
No, for real. It's like, well,
Yeah,
I
sorry I
mean-
wasn't on earlier. I was having dinner.
Oh, you're good. You're good. I noticed you went like back to back to back with Denver, and I was like,
Oh.
did I miss something?
No, that was not intentional. Those were just the best players I thought were available at those spots.
Okay.
if you're 6'6" and white it's more than likely John Elway wants you to play quarterback for the Denver Broncos.
That's the problem. Right? Does he really want Aaron Rodgers?
He's not 6'6".
I think Pierre is shook right now. He took Odell Beckham in the 6th. I think Pierre is still shooken up by the Cam Akers news.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing today.
He doesn't know. He's like, yeah.
I will say, I just love in my dynasty. I was like, all right, everybody's up for trade, and my next like thing was a thing for like, oh, I'll give you 2 seconds for Devontae Adams, and I'm like, really?
Give you a
At
second
least I
for
gave
Rudy.
you a real offer. What now? Long Wing timed out? Oh my god. dude.
Yeah, we got another Akers pick.
This is annoying.
Everybody wants them. No one can have them. To be
Like-
honest, Russ isn't bad here. If you're gonna give him somebody,
Yeah, that's
Maybe
fine.
you shouldn't
Russ and-
do that. No, that was a bad idea, Chris. Come on.
I mean, we gotta make it a little like it's a little like.
Yeah, I got it.
How many running backs does he have?
3. So I'd give him a wide receiver. To be honest,
Or give him like Fant.
You got Cooks. He was the first wide receiver on the board. All right, now he's back. All right, so just curious. I'm not gonna say what is everybody's take on Derrick Henry in Dynasty.
oh,
Just
Um,
curious.
If you're in win now mode, then sure, he's fine. But if you're not in win now mode, then try to sell him.
Okay, anybody else?
I mean that's kind of where I am as well.
how many years do you? Okay, so yeah, I would assume the consensus is that he's an RB1 this year, correct?
If he stays healthy, yes.
Yeah, if he stays
so.
healthy. Okay, so where does he finish next year, assuming health?
Probably RB1 again, honestly.
Okay, 3 years from now, where does he finish it? And we're still assuming health. You take age into consideration.
Well, hold
Either-
on.
Either an RB2 or he falls off a cliff. One or the other. I don't think there's too
Okay.
much. In between.
All right. Well, my plan was to take Sherman or Carter here when I took Fuller. Ugh.
Pierre, how do you see him? Because I'd love to hear yours.
Derrick Henry.
Yes.
I mean, if you have him, I think you have to hold, unless somebody gives you like a Godfather offer, like multiple firsts and a player. I mean, you're not going to get probably fair value back.
What if you just lost 3 first-round picks
I mean,
to an Achilles injury and you're now in full rebuild mode? I'm just throwing out like a random scenario.
I mean, if you're that far off, and like you have no draft picks for like the next 5 years.
Yeah, you have like no picks.
Yeah, like you try, but again,
I'm just asking as it's like a really random theory that I just pulled out of the sky.
right. I know you're asking for a friend. Like, what would you do? But I don't know. Yeah, I don't think probably nobody's willing to pay up what he's really worth right now. And I don't think he's going to fall off a cliff like this year necessarily, so yeah, you can sell him if you get the right price, but again, don't sell just for the sake of selling. You know what I mean? So multiple firsts, maybe.
I'm just gonna let you know right now. Even if I was in win now mode, which I am, I would never trade multiple firsts for Derrick Henry because you're basically
Right.
you're like I have
a lot of people will.
Now. Well, okay. But you're basically saying he has to be a beast this year and carry me to the championship, or my dynasty team is probably 5 years out. Right.
Yeah, when I said like adding on to what I said earlier, When I said that Derrick Henry's fine if you're in win now mode, I just meant if you already have him. I did not mean go out and get him. I would not go out and get
No,
him.
I think it's fair to go out
Right.
and get him. I think it's fair to go out and get him if you're a win now mode. I'm just saying he's not like the type of guy. Like there's some win now, like I'm trying to think of somebody who's not obvious, but like maybe like Dalvin Cook. But that might be too obvious. I don't know. But the thing, like when
you don't mortgage your future to go out and
Yeah.
get a running back, just period. You don't, you know what I mean? It's better to find a running back, you know, that you can get off waivers or cheap through the trade, you know, early in the season, mid-season. Going out to trade for a running back, especially a guy who has so many carries on him in Dynasty, that's just, you know, like just begging for disaster to happen. So, yeah, I don't think anybody should be going out to get Derrick Henry, no matter how stacked your team is already.
Yeah. No, and I'm fine with him saying no to the trade. It wasn't, I didn't give him like a crazy 2 first offer. I gave him, I thought was a fine offer. Probably a little on the low side because again, I'm not mortgaging my future for Derrick Henry.
So and I'll say
But it wasn't as bad. It wasn't as bad as 2 seconds for Devontae Adams. Whoever sent you that trade, that's absurd. Absurd.
Yeah.
Really bad.
Come on, 2 seconds for Devontae Adams. Like, what do you? Oh my goodness.
Who was it?
I would have vetoed that if you.
I'm not gonna name him, but I was a little upset. I about tossed my phone. I was like, really?
Like whoever sent that trade offer, stop it. Stop.
Are they in the car
sending
right now?
such bad trade offers. Like, come on. Oh, this guy.
So I got that trade and I was like, all right. And then I got yours. And here's how I see Henry for the next 3 years. He's an RB1 this year. He's a low RB1, maybe high RB2 next year. And then he's just an RB2 in that 3rd year. And
Okay.
I'm like,
Let's see. That's where we greatly disagree because I don't think Derrick Henry is going to have a gradual decline. I think Derrick Henry, dude, we're talking about a guy who's probably, if he stays healthy this year, another 300 touches. That's going to be over 1,000 touches in 3 seasons. That's an insane amount of touches. More than likely, if he stays healthy this year, yes, he'll be an RB1. But probably, like what's going to happen to Derrick Henry is he's going to either A, lose all his speed and burst and everything and just fall off a cliff and like average like 3.5 yards per carry and not be very good anymore, or he's going to get little nagging injuries and like miss 2 or 3 games here, 3 or 4 games there. You know what I mean? I just don't see him having a gradual like low RB1, mid RB2 type of career finish. I just don't. Like guys who get that many carries, who are those big bruising backs, that's not how their careers. Like look at DeMarco Murray. He had like the insane year in Dallas, then he had like a really good year in Tennessee, and then he was like barely anything after that. That's how those type of backs typically end their careers.
I think the comp that we're, you know, think about those who've played long enough and would worry about, even though he's not exactly the same type of guy. Of course, there hasn't really been too many players like Derrick Henry physically, but it's Sean Alexander. You know, and where it's not even that he gets hurt. Like he could get hurt, but of course anybody can get hurt. But it's that he's still there and he's still the man and he's still getting all the carries and he just doesn't have it ananymore because his legs are toast. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those two.
yeah. If you have like, I think Henry, if you can get 2 first, like, or Henry and or a first and a young player, like I would do that trade. It was Henderson, and I'm like, he could be like Henderson is replaceable for me. So that was I was like, I really don't like this. And then Rager on the again was the young piece you try to give me, and I'm like, yeah, I look at the Eagles like at last year's Jets, and I'm like, I don't want to touch any part of that offense.
Yeah, no, I that's why I said I think it was okay that you didn't want the offer. Like if you think Rager is like nothing, then obviously you're not doing it. I looked at it as like, hey, maybe this is a young guy with upside that he'll look at and say, okay, you know, I can move on from a 27-year-old RB who, yeah, he might put up a monster year this year, but what about next year or the year after when, you know, but yeah, like if you're not into Rager, you're not into Rager.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like I don't even like this guy, but I guess I got to take him there. And I don't have a first next year, so. And I honestly don't know if I would trade a first. I get that it's probably fair, but I don't know if I would do it. Because the thing people don't understand about first round picks.
Well, and I would say I think it's valuable for you only if you had the first round, because you're gonna finish top 12, or like you're gonna finish at least like top 8.
Maybe. Well,
Or,
top eight.
4.
Top 8 probably. I'm only beating 4 guys.
Sorry, top 4.
Okay.
Sorry, I was doing it backwards.
Yeah, maybe. You never know, but yeah.
I mean,
But the reason why I said I don't know if I would trade a first for Derrick Henry right now, me personally.
Cam Akers.
Well, no, but because that can happen to any running back. That first, you get to like week 8 or 9 in the season, and somebody's team who thought they were gonna maybe contend this year has 2 wins, and they're desperate. That first becomes insanely valuable, right? When they're looking at like, hey, I need to rebuild this year. I need another first round pick. Now maybe you can go out and get like a Cooper Kupp or a whatever, somebody like that who can take you over the top, or maybe you can go get like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Maybe not him because he's young, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, unless I get a really good offer here shortly, I'm just gonna probably keep my team the way it is, even with its rocky placement. But come playoffs and stuff, I'll probably sell, because then you'll like know if you're in it or not and how close you are. And then I'll probably end up selling off some of the bigger players for either picks or younger players and picks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that first, like if I had a first round pick and it was like, sniped, and it was like week 13, I might give you a first for Henry if Henry's healthy and playing well. You know what I mean? Because now it's like, hey, I can get Derrick Henry and win the championship. So now it's like, okay, here's my first ticket. I'm gonna go win the championship, right?
Yeah.
So, but I wouldn't do it now because there's still a lot of time between now and then, and so.
I know I've said it a couple times in the past, but I think this might be the best team I've ever drafted.
Okay, you have Damian Harris and Rashad Bateman. It's already not the best team you ever drafted.
AJ Dillon.
No, David Harrison, AJ Dillon. That makes it an 11 out of 10.
Now everybody's gonna be like, you know what? I'm just happy it wasn't Aaron Jones, honestly. Because if it was Aaron Jones, oh my God, the AJ Dillon people. The
AJ Dillon first round pick.
Oh man.
Okay,
the AJ Dillon people would be insufferable right now. Like you wouldn't even be able, I wouldn't even be able to go into our Discord right now if Aaron Jones got hurt. It would.
Where do you think AJ Dillon would actually go if that happened? I think he'd be like a early second round pick, honestly.
Oh yeah,
he
absolutely.
probably would. I don't know if he should, but he probably would. I think if he, in that case, I'd probably have him like. Let me see. Who do we got here? Let me scroll up. I was gonna say after Gibson, but that might be a little early. Let me see. No, I wouldn't have him over Najee. I think you can make a case for him after Najee.
Who, Dillon? If Aaron Jones went down?
Yes. I think after Najee.
I'd put him after JK.
Well, JK shouldn't be that high in my opinion, so I didn't really count him.
But it would be the same situation because what's behind AJ Dillon?
Well,
if Aaron Jones isn't there, what's behind AJ Dillon? Nothing. It's Kylan Hill, who's like 4 feet tall and just catches some passes, and that's it.
Yeah,
So,
he'd be in a better situation than Dobbins because, well, A, his quarterback doesn't run the ball, and B, he doesn't have a guy behind him who's another good running back. Oh, crap. Does he have a Yeah, he has a quarterback, right?
He has a quarterback and a tight end. So, to be honest, I'd give him – yeah, that works. And give him a wide receiver.
Give him T.Y. Hilton.
I'll give him Cole Beasley. Nobody wants him, right?
Well, I wanted him, but sure.
You wanted Cole Beasley?
In the 11th round?
Okay,
Josh Allen's offense?
Okay, hold on. I'll give you Cole Beasley. I'll give him Cole Hardman then. All right, take Cole Beasley if you want him.
I'll take Cole Beasley.
I was gonna say if he doesn't take Cole Beasley,
the thing with Dylan versus Dobbins is Dylan's going to get all the carries. Now he's not going to get many receptions. That's why I wouldn't have him. That's why I would have Najee ahead of him, because Najee is going to also get all the carries, but I think Najee is going to get a decent amount of receptions. So I'd have him right there after Najee. But I'd also have like Edwards-Helaire over J.K. Dobbins. So. But I'm just glad it wasn't Aaron Jones, because like if at any point this year Aaron Jones gets hurt, oh God, our Discord is going to be so bad.
They're gonna be like, "I told you so. I told you so."
Yeah,
I told you
oh,
so.
look how good, look at AJ Dillon. It's like, oh.
And why are people so high on him anyway? Is it just because he has big thighs, or?
No, you want to know what I really think it
Yes.
is? No, here's what I really think it is. Because I
What is it?
remember Pierre, we had what's his name on? The guy who's very nice guy. If he listens to this, which he probably doesn't, but very nice guy. I like you. You're a great guy. So I'm not saying this to be disrespectful, but he was like, he's very like loud and right. Just the way he is. It's not a bad thing. You know what I'm talking about?
Was it John Lobb, the professor?
Yeah, John Lobb.
The scholar.
Yeah, great guy.
Very good guy.
Very good guy. Fun guy. Great to have on the podcast. And we were talking about that rookie class, and we didn't even talk about AJ Dillon. And then at the end, I said, "Well, what about like a guy like AJ Dillon? But we all agreed he had to land in the right spot. He wasn't like a can't miss prospect like everybody thinks he is for some reason. He had to land in the right spot, and he didn't. And I really, really, really think if he would have played, if last week in that or last year in that snow game he would have sucked, nobody would care about AJ Dillon right now. I really believe that. I really do. No, I really do, because people see that game and they see what he did, and they think it's just like Tony Pollard. They see what he did in that one game Zeke missed, and they're like, "Oh my God, look at how good Tony Pollard is."
But he didn't suck, did he? Now, Chris.
What's that?
I said, but he didn't suck, did he? Now, Chris.
Who?
AJ Dillon.
No. So, but I really think like people think that that's what they're gonna get with AJ Dillon if he gets the starting role. Like, they're gonna get that. And I'm like, no, you're not. Just like Tony Pollard. Like, yes, Tony Pollard will be good if he gets the
Hey,
starting.
it's the 11th round. Okay, it's okay for me to take him there.
No. I'm not knocking the pick. I'm saying what I'm saying is like.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Though I got you.
People think like, well, he just had this. Like people said, like, oh, look, Gus Edwards had one start last year against the Steelers defense, who, you know, when they were healthy, shut down everybody. He had one start against the Steelers defense. They're like, well, look how bad he was when he got a chance. It's like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he played the best defense in the league. AJ Dillon played one of the worst rushing defenses in the snow in a game where Aaron Rodgers only attempted 25 passes because they were destroying the Titans. Like, but I really do think people like that's what they think in their head. Like they think like, oh, AJ Dillon's awesome. Is this guy gonna time out too?
He's timed out before already, hasn't he?
Just
Mhm.
once during the Russell Wilson, Brandon Cooks part. Oh, he's back.
Okay, good. But I do think, like, yeah, if Aaron Jones goes down, AJ Dillon's going to be fine. But yeah, it's not. I don't know. He wasn't like I remember him coming in. He wasn't like some can't miss prospect. He wasn't like.
Well, I'll tell you why I think people are crazy about Dillon and certain prospects. So, like, we know about recency bias, right? Like, you know, this guy ends the season strong, and you know, like everybody's convinced Jonathan Taylor is going to be the man because. You know, the end of the season, he was a beast. And same thing with J.K. Dobbins. And people, you know, remember that way you ended the season. But also, there's primacy bias. You remember the first impression, right? The first thing you hear about a guy. So what's the first thing we usually hear about rookies or NFL players when they come in? It's the combine or their pro day. It's their numbers, their workout numbers, right? And so A.J. Dillon didn't have like a crazy 40 time. He was running 4.2. But he had a crazy speed score because he's a big back. And so they were talking about how his speed score was so good because he's for such a big guy, you know, he ran really fast straight ahead. And so then we had the comps to like Derrick Henry, right? This could be the next big guy. And so even if you didn't know that, there was a buzz, right? People are hearing about Dillon and, oh, this guy is, you know, really talented. He's got the thighs, he's got the speed, all this, whatever. So we expect that Dylan could be this breakout guy. And so then when we see something like that one game happen, they're like, we knew it. This is the guy who's going to be the league winner if he just gets the chance. So people kind of have that in their head. You know what I mean? That's just your expectation going in. And so honestly, people remember that kind of stuff, like the combine numbers and you don't remember the numbers, but you remember the reaction, right? When people say, oh, look how far Josh Allen threw the ball 100 yards down the field. Remember, how fast DK Metcalf ran. And sometimes they turn out to be stars. And then sometimes you have like John Ross or Henry Ruggs, or they don't, right? But
honestly, they're going to start like measuring the circumference of like people's quads at some point. Like people are going to get all hyped about like quad inch length size and stuff like that.
Why are people down on Devontae? Why is Devontae Smith being drafted like 3 rounds later than Jamar Chase? Because he's in a worse situation? Well, I mean, we don't know about Jalen Hurts, but still, what is it that people always talk about with Devontae Smith? What's the first thing you think about when you talk about, okay, Devontae Smith?
Skinny.
His weight. What do we talk about? How skinny he is. That's it. So, those are the things that people think about it's the perception.
But the funny thing is, like, I know they said, like, oh, look at his draft capital, look at his BMI, look at all his this. And I'm like, okay, like, do we care? Like, what round did Alvin Kamara get drafted in?
3rd round.
We don't care anymore.
It was the 2nd round.
No, I think he was 3rd.
No.
Wasn't
I think he was even later.
No, I think he was 3rd. Let me look that up.
It was 3rd.
He was 3rd. But,
Okay.
but what I'm
Was
saying
it
is,
3rd or
like,
4th round?
3rd round.
What I'm saying is, like, we don't care anymore, right? Aaron Jones, 4th rounder. We don't care. Tyreek Hill was what, like a 5th or 6th rounder because it was off the field stuff. Nobody was going to draft him, right? Like nobody thought he should even be drafted. To be honest, like people were in an uproar when he got drafted. But my point being, like, yeah, that stuff. No, it's true. But my point being,
Cam Akers. The last pick of the draft was Cam Akers. I think that's poetic.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, he can have him now. But the point being, like, yeah, draft capital matters, like, until it doesn't, right? Like, I don't care where AJ Dillon was drafted. He's stuck behind Aaron Jones, and they just paid him $50 million for 4 years. Like, you need Aaron Jones to either A, get hurt, or B, fall off the cliff. Like, that's it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
okay, but how about is AJ Dillon worth in the 10th round? Is he worth what Jamal Williams did last year in Green Bay?
No, because Jamal Williams, okay, people want to compare, like, oh, he's going to have the Jamal Williams role. No, Jamal Williams came in. Okay, Jamal Williams played throughout the game, but he also was primarily the 2-minute back, which is crazy to think, but it's true. Now, yes, Aaron Jones sometimes did play during the 2-minute drill. But why was Jamal Williams out there in the 2-minute drill? Because A, he's a good pass protector, and B, he's a great pass catcher. Whether people want to believe it or not, he's also a great pass catcher. AJ Dillon is not a 2-minute drill running back. Like, you don't want to be running the 2-minute drill with AJ Dillon. So he's not going to get those. And those are valuable snaps, by the way. The 2-minute drill, you're playing fast. You're trying to score, right? You're getting, usually, you're moving down the field quickly. Those are high value snaps. AJ Dillon's not going to get those snaps, right? He's not going to catch a bunch of passes. Sure, he might catch a pass a game. He might have a game where he catches 2 or 3 randomly, but he's not going to catch a bunch of passes. So no, he's not going to get all the Jamal Williams touches. I think I'm actually higher on Aaron Jones with Jamal Williams gone, because I think Aaron Jones will get more work than he got with Jamal Williams.
So if let's say they give him then maybe like the short yardage roles, like maybe first downs,
3rd and 1, 4th and inches. Yeah, for sure. He'll get
and
that.
what if they give him the goal line work too?
They'll still give Aaron Jones. He's not going to get all of it. Sure. Maybe like Aaron Jones gets stuffs on 1st down, and then on 2nd down they throw an incompletion. Then sure, maybe they bring AJ Dillon in on 3rd down and just try to pound it with him or something like that. But I don't think it's going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. And let's not forget, last year, as somebody who had Aaron Jones, it was very frustrating when they would get to the goal line and they'd throw it 4 straight times until Devontae Adams or Robert Tonyan caught a touchdown. Like, that was very annoying.
I was going to say, some teams like to throw it when they get to the red zone.
Yeah.
So it's not a guarantee that they get to the goal line and just give it to AJ Dillon 4 times. They might throw it 4 times. You know what I mean? Like, so no, I don't think that's enough. Like, when you're talking about in the 10th round here, like, you look at Kenyon Drake, AJ Dillon, Jamal Williams, Gus Edwards. I'm trying to talk Latavius Murray. I'm trying to talk Kenneth Gainwell, Tony Pollard. I'm talking about the guys who don't have like an every down type of role. What you're hoping for is that they have a big enough role to at least maybe be flex worthy if you need them in a pinch, like, you know, or if something happens as a starter, then they get that role. That's what you're looking for these guys. The problem with AJ Dillon is like I don't see how he has a big enough role if Aaron Jones is healthy, because all he can do is carry the football.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. The amount of times I saw Aaron Rodgers audible out of a run play inside like the 5-yard line, it's ridiculous.
yeah, it's like, so, I mean, even having Aaron Jones last year was very frustrating. Like they would get down to the goal line, they'd be at the 1-yard line, and it would be like incompletion to Devontae Adams, throwaway out of the back of the end zone. Oh, okay, there's a touchdown for Robert Tonyan. And you're like, what the heck? Aaron Jones didn't even get the ball one time. They're at the 1-yard line. He didn't even like get the ball. It's very frustrating.
So here's a question, because I added 20 more. I don't know. I think I added like 30 targets and 15 more catches for Higbee since their pass catching running back just went down. Because I feel like when they do dump it off, they're not always gonna, like, they're just gonna want someone more consistent. Who's?
I don't know.
Do you get what I'm saying?
I'm not
Yeah,
sure
I get what you're
Higbee gets
saying.
those targets though. I mean,
They'll move around. What they'll do is a lot of times teams, when they're lacking at running back, they'll sub in a guy like, Cordero Patterson, who they can move around, or like Curtis Samuel, who can do like that hybrid role. And so you might see like Tutu Atwell line up in the backfield and do end arounds. You know what I mean? They'll do stuff like that to mix it up, or, another running back. Higbee might get a few more targets, but I don't think it's a big jump for him.
Yeah, I didn't increase it by much, but I figured he'd get a little bit more.
I mean, he becomes more valuable for sure because they're going to pass more in general.
and
Yeah.
I think he's more valuable in general this year because Gerald Everett is gone as well. I mean,
That's true.
he's the only
Yeah.
tight end there. He's going to be getting all the passing work out of that position. So
Yeah, my problem with Higbee, and I like you talk about any of these tight ends like Gronk, Tonyan, Higbee, it's like whatever. My problem with Higbee is
I've got to pick one though.
Well, yeah, you have to pick one. I get it. My problem with Higbee is he has, and I know Gronk is in the same situation, but at least Gronk, like him and Brady are like best buds.
Yeah.
But the thing with Higbee is he's got Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, so he's at best third. And I don't think there's gonna be a clear number 3 on this team. I think it's gonna be like, yeah, just spread out amongst everybody else. That's the worry with Higbee.
Plus, I'm hearing they're really loving their tight end that they drafted this year, Jacob Harris.
Yeah, I just tend not to draft first year, or tend to trust first year tight ends. It's like could he overtake Higbee by next year or the year after? Yeah, sure, but it's very rare.
No, I just mean that I don't think he's going to take his role immediately. I just think.
Well, they drafted a tight end last year too, didn't they? Get Bryson Hopkins.
Yeah, I'm fine. Like I said, I'm fine with that. I mean, I tweeted something out. Like so last year, Kelsey 109 catches, Waller 108. Obviously, Kittle doesn't count because he barely played, but he probably would have been like 90, something like that, maybe more. And then after that, it was Logan Thomas with like 73, TJ Hawkins was 69, and Evan Ingram was 68. Like, it doesn't matter. And not only that, everybody's like, Evan Ingram was terrible, and he was tight end 15, he was awful. But if Evan Ingram had only scored 6 touchdowns last year instead of 1, he would have had more fantasy points than Mark Andrews. Like, that's how bad it is. That's literally, he would have gone from tight end 15 to tight end 6 with just 5 more touchdowns. That's how bad it is at tight end. So draft whoever the hell you want. It doesn't matter. Just draft somebody. If they suck, drop them and pick up somebody else. It's like you're just throwing darts at that point, hoping you find you're hoping you draft the next Robert Tonyan or Logan Thomas or whatever, because there's going to be 2 or 3 of those guys, but we don't know who they are right now. We have no idea.
Yeah, I'm just trying to bring them to the forefront of people's mind when they're drafting a tight end late in the draft.
I like Gerald Everett.
I like Gerald Everett. Honestly, I like Gerald Everett more than Higbee, but again, whatever. It's going to be, who knows who. It's probably going to be some random person that nobody's even thinking about right now. Because who was thinking about Robert Tonyan or Logan Thomas last year? Nobody. So
watch out for Troutman. That's the one guy I think that could
No,
I'm
I agree.
serious. Laugh now. I'm serious
No,
about it.
it could be. You know who it's going to be? It's going to be a tight end on a team that not because the tight end is good, because they have no receivers, right?
Yeah.
Because they have nobody else to throw to. Like Washington, it was like McLaurin and like, oh, hey, they're Logan, you're tight end. We'll throw it to you, Logan Thomas. Like that's who it's going to be. And so people thought it was going to be like Ferkser. Well, but now they got Julio Jones, so forget that. But it's going to be somebody whether a receiver gets hurt or they just don't have receivers. That's where the tight end is going to come out of.
That's Troutman. They don't have. I mean,
Well, exactly, because the Saints don't have anybody else to throw to. So Troutman is actually a good one. It definitely could be him.
But it's very rare that we get it right. That's what makes me nervous.
Well,
everybody likes Troutman, so I'm like, crap. It's very rare that we're right. It's because again, it's going to be some random dude that no one even thought of, or like one person tweeted out one time, like.
It's going to be the tight end on the Texans because they're going to have a rookie quarterback.
That's
There's
true.
Mills. They're going to have no receivers, and so Jordan Akins,
it could
is
be
going to like go off.
because again, if he just catches 60 passes and scores 5 or 6 touchdowns, he's going to be like a top 7, top 6 tight end next year. I mean, literally, that's all it takes. That's all we're talking about here. Like, there's probably 15 guys who have the potential to do that. It's just which ones will. All right. Well, anyway, who wants to grade this thing? Because now Pierre and I have to film a Henderson debate video. Since our Akers one is no more. Who wants to grade?
Is there somebody new on that could maybe grade?
I mean, if they want.
I've never graded before.
Go for it. Go for it if you want.
I just don't want to get beat up too bad.
No.
All right.
We'll beat you up like we did Cam Akers. Just take out your kids.
To put me on IR?
Yeah.
You don't have to grade Barquios because he was pretty much all autoed or all handpicked, but just picked top guys. So you can just start.
He got the steal of the century with Cam Akers at
Cam Akers in the
12-12.
Just won the
So
day.
I think that he automatically gets a 12 out of 10.
Okay.
Keep in mind, if you give Jeremy a good score, he'll probably just give you a first-round pick.
Well, he can't. He doesn't have any left.
That was your
It
secret?
doesn't take a lot to get a first-round pick out of Jeremy.
That was your secret. You're like, hey man, you want Cam Akers? He's like, I'm not sure. So then the next draft, you give him like an A+, and then he's like, yeah, I'm still not sure. So you give him another one, and then finally, he's like, all right, here you go.
I was like, all right, here's Cam Akers. I want 2 first-round picks back. He's like, how about 3 first-round picks for him?
No, you were the one that was
your 26.
I'm kidding, Jeremy. I'm kidding.
Why are we beating up poor Jeremy after he lost?
Have I not had enough today?
He's just as sad as Cam Akers actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's got to be tough before you're. I mean, as a rookie running back, you're hoping to get that second contract, and that's got to be brutal.
I looked at his contract today, and I think it was a 4-year for $6 million with a $2 million signing bonus, and then like 2.5 fully guaranteed. So, I mean, $4 million is nothing to cry about, but
yeah, he's not going to go hungry.
For him, I don't think it's more about the money. I think it's about possibility of never playing again. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
It sucks.
All right, grade us up.
All right, Jeremy. Dalvin Cook, that's good. I'll just go by position. So Cook, Gibson, Montgomery, all good picks. I understand Montgomery is a good value there because he's usually going around the 4th round, but you already had 2 running backs. You could have waited, but looking at other picks, there wasn't necessarily a wide receiver that I would have gone like, oh, you should have picked them. Yeah. You know, so then you got Kyler Murray in the 7th, which is good. It's your wide receivers, Robinson, Lockett, and Samuel. I'm not like Chris. Like I'm avoiding Lockett wherever I see him, just because I see him as a boom bust guy, and that's just not how I play. But I get that some people like to play him. But if I was to pick him, I would want him as my 3 at the most. So at the 2, that's really tough. And then you got Higbee at the end, which we've been talking about that. I would give you a 7.5.
That's fine.
If I'm real mean, it would be a 7 because your wide receiver room is pretty rough right now.
I like my wide receiver room. Robinson, Lockett, Debo, Antonio Brown, Michael Gallup, Cole Beasley.
It's like you're a dynasty.
You're gonna have to play. You're gonna have to play
You're a
one of
dynasty
those
wide
guys
receiver room.
flex though. You know,
Anyone else love his wide receiver group?
It's like one of those groups.
Speak up if you love his wide receiver group.
I love Allen Robinson, and then everybody else is like, I mean, maybe.
you got wide receiver 1, and then you got all flexes, from what I see. Which I mean is kind of made up by the fact that you have three really good running backs. So
Yeah.
and a top quarterback. So yeah, 7 or 7.5. We'll go with Ale, Kamara, McLaurin, Evans, Smith, Gaskin. Those are all picks you should have made. No crazy out of line picks. Chark and Gage could both be candidates for your flex, so that's good. I would probably prefer Smith to be my flex, but I understand we had a round 2 of all wide receivers, so you gotta take what you can get. Jackson's good. Fant at the 8 is pretty good. 8-10 is pretty good. Gage at the 9 is good. Johnson, Murray, and Penny are all like dartboard shots, so I'll take it. Problem is if one of your starting running backs goes down, which there's a chance that Gaskin might not even get the starting job next season, like we've talked about, you would have to rely on Johnson, Murray, or Penny. So, and there's a chance that none of them even play this season or start this season. So, I would go with a 7.5 on that. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, that's probably pretty fair.
I don't understand. Like, I get Devonta Smith, but I don't get Devonta Smith in the 4th. I don't get that.
I
I'd
would
play with
prefer
it
to go David Montgomery there.
Yeah, Montgomery, or I would have even gone like Lockett, or because again, I like Lockett as a wide receiver 3. Give me that boom bust wide receiver 3. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. All right, so then we got Bill switching it up. Didn't you do this last week? The same sort of thing. He took one at like top at every position.
Yeah, he's It's funny. Okay, Bill, if you're listening to this, you know I love you. But it's funny because he'll be like RB2s. Oh, they barely matter. And then I feel like in the last couple drafts he's done, he's taken an early RB2 and then got QB tight end. But hey,
This is true. This is true.
To each their own.
So yeah, he's kind of in the same situation as some of the other guys where he's got one wide receiver 1 and then a bunch of guys that are like flex plays. But he does have Mahomes. The problem is like Harris, like, okay, like that's kind of where he's going. But for the team that he drafted, like it doesn't really make sense. Like if he had done that and then hit wide receivers, his team would be a lot better. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Especially with the way that everyone saw the way wide receivers were going off, I definitely would have not picked Harris. Gibson, I can kind of see, but Harris, I would have let him fall further. So yeah, I would say 7.5. You took a chance on Pitts, which I wouldn't have done because you already went wide receiver or running back, quarterback, but 7.5. Is that too out of line? Is Bill gonna blow me up on that?
No, so my big thing is after that T. Higgins pick in the 4.8, there's a huge drop in wide receiver, I think. And so when you're evaluating like wide receivers from that point on, they're all either the same, if not lower to me. So like that's why like Devontae Smith, he drops for me. Jamar Chase, same thing. Tyler Lockett's just a big boom bust. Like, so between 5 and 7, like most of these wide receivers just all have question marks and like could be good, could not. Like their variance or just where they're gonna finish is so just all over the map that it's just hard to gauge. That's why it's kind of safer to go with a running back there, or because after T Higgins, like there's no wide receiver, even till like the 7th round where I feel like I'm like, okay, this guy I'm probably getting at his value.
Yeah.
Having Jalen Waddle as your 2 is kind of rough, honestly. Like that's
Well,
very
I'll say, I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you go quarterback early, which, I don't recommend because it's just not necessary, it doesn't give you a big advantage. You can't also go tight end early because then that sets you back, either running back or wide receiver or both. So he's basically depending on Kyle Pitts to put up wide receiver 2 or better value, which I don't think he will. I mean, some people, I know Bill loves Pitts and that's fine. And some people love Pitts. I don't see 20-year-old rookie tight end, putting up that kind of numbers right away. And then out of his two of his top 4 receivers, it's got Waddle and Parker. And, it's hard to see them both putting up big seasons, even if Tua is the MVP like we think he's going to be. So it's just hard.
Yeah. And I get the point about there being like a drop off in receiver, but like this is kind of what we've been talking about, like value versus what you need.
Yeah.
So like in this situation, everyone can see how crazy fast the wide receivers are coming off the board. Yeah, there's a drop, but if you don't take them, the drop's going to be even bigger by the time they get back to you. So like wide receiver is like your most important position. So yeah, it might suck to pick them earlier than you would like or what they should go at, but that's what your team needs. So that's just my point, or my view on it. So then I'll skip me. I'll go to Clappin, Ezekiel Elliott, Keenan Allen. That might be the soonest we've seen Keenan Allen go.
Yeah, that is.
But I know you like him. So.
No, if you have Keenan Allen in our dynasty league, you know who to target.
yeah,
You gotta expose that
he fit
weakness.
well with a bunch of like 20-year-olds on my team.
I know you can't even go out. They'll give you Keenan. Never mind. Never mind.
Yeah, so I like CeeDee Lamb more than Cooper this year. So I like that they got him. Edwards in the 4th. That's kind of where he's going. You did bounce back. Like I think Galladay is good for a wide receiver 3/flex. I know we've talked about how abysmal dating Downs has been, but I mean, Galladay's. I think he's probably going to be the biggest guy in the field. So I feel like they're going to throw to him a lot. So as your 3 or your flex, like that's fine with me. Claypool's good. Dak Prescott in the 7's great. Harris, I know people are kind of one way or the other on him. I think he's good at the 8, seeing as he's probably going to be the starter and see the majority of the time on the field. It'll just depend on who's the quarterback there. And then not even going to get into pick number 10, but Tunyon in the 12 is good. So I would give you an 8-5. I think that's a good team.
You guys is the best team I've ever drafted.
It's like the boy who cried wolf. Every week you say that. Every week.
No, I actually genuinely like this team. I do. I do.
Like all those amazing weapons you posted Tom Brady had over his career.
You like the Damian Woody one?
I was like,
oh my god,
is he being serious? I'm like, no, he can't be being serious. He's got to be trolling us.
He trolls most of his comments.
Yeah.
I think this is the spiciest team you've drafted so far. I'll say
me?
that. Yeah.
What makes it that way, you think?
Because you took Galladay and Harris and Bateman and Dillon. You took all the controversial guys in our group.
Yeah, the only guy I don't love that I picked is Dillon. I mean, Bateman, I think, is just like upside at that point. And like I said, Galladay is like, he could just be my flex. Claypool's probably a fine number 3. Yeah, Dillon.
I mean, your team's certainly not bad at all. I think your team's okay, but it was just funny some of the guys you took.
Yeah,
I
it
think your
wasn't.
team's the best right now.
It wasn't intentional by any means. It kind of just happened that way. These aren't guys like I'm necessarily like targeting. They kind of just fell to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think your team's the best one so far. So yeah, 8-5. Moving on to Chris, got Eckler, which that might be the highest we've seen him go. I know you like him though. So Eckler, Ridley, Cup, Thielen, Hunt. I like those first 4 picks. I might have gone
5 picks,
Davis
bro.
over Hunt, but
I said that's 5 picks.
or yeah, 5 picks. Sorry.
I thought he wasn't counting
All
Kareem.
right,
That's why he said top
that's a
4.
five for
I know. I'm like, oh, you don't like the Kareem Hunt pick?
That's a 5 for you, Chris. You don't no correcting the grader. No, I might have gone Davis over Hunt, but I'm not like mad about it. Boyd in the 6th is good. I was a little mad. I thought I was gonna get him. Fuller is good. Like he could turn out to be the starter. Jalen Hurts is good. We were talking. What was it last week when you were talking about Jalen Hurts and his rushing quarterbacks, the rushing upside, and you were given like stats on like all that they needed to be top fantasy performers, and I was actually going to target Hurts this draft just because you changed my mind now. So yeah, it's good there. Fournette, Drake, Gainwell. Hey, those are all kind of like dartboards, but one of them is probably going to hit.
I honestly don't really like those running backs.
You don't like playoff Lenny?
I don't really like Lenny. I do like Drake. Gainwell, I'm like,
The audacity to take Gainwell over Pollard. It is just so disrespectful.
Here's the thing. Here's my thing between Gainwell and Pollard. Sure. If Zeke was injured, Pollard over Gainwell all day. If like Zeke and Miles Sanders both get hurt, Pollard over Gainwell all day. But with both of them healthy, I think I'm sorry, but it's gonna be all Zeke. Okay, it's gonna be like almost all Zeke, whether you want to believe it or not.
Zeke is one Popeye's chicken sandwich away from being like an RB5, honestly.
Okay.
I mean, he's still got his abs.
I think Gainwell can leapfrog Boston freaking Scott and at least have a role behind Miles Sanders, a guy who doesn't really get like tons of the work anyways. I know Miles Sanders will be the number 1 there, but I think Gainwell can at least at some point play his way into the number 2 guy and have some value. That's why I take Gainwell over Pollard. Now
it's going to be a committee. It's going to be a committee. Just watch. Miles Sanders they even said, right? They even said he's not going to be every down back. Gainwell is going to get touches.
Yeah, I don't love Gainwell. I would have preferred Latavius Murray, but he got taken by Ale. So yeah, I don't really love my RB 3, 4, and 5s there. I mean, I do like Drake, but it's very dicey for sure.
My fear is none of the Philadelphia running backs are going to be startable. Like I think
that's for sure. But you know what? Tony Pollard's not going to be startable for every game that Zeke plays, and Zeke, he's the one guy you can actually say is not injury prone because he doesn't get hurt. Maybe him and Derrick Henry are the only two that I think Zeke's only missed 1 or 2 games due to injury in his career.
Chris, why you got to do that, man? Now tomorrow I'm going to get the news. Henry bopped his Achilles, and I'm going to be like,
oh, man. Back to back, that'd be brutal. But anyways, continue, Mike.
Yeah, I kind of get what you guys mean about the committee thing because I would probably try to avoid running backs that are on teams that have a quarterback that has a tendency to run themselves, just because they tend to soak up a lot of touchdowns or short yards.
Sure.
So, but I mean, in the 9th round, you guys start just like taking shots, especially the way this draft went. I actually like your team a little bit more than Clappen's, just because I think your receiving room is better. And I don't see a massive difference between Blair and Hunt.
Well, what about Eckler and Zeke, who apparently Austin
I
doesn't
forgot
even.
I picked him. Oh no.
Austin doesn't even think
That was
Zeke's going to be any good this year, and that's his starting running back. So
That
I
was
don't
not-
know.
What's that he said about a Popeye chicken sandwich?
I mean,
Yeah, that was
doesn't he have
not
to,
good,
doesn't he have to like lose some points now when he's over there bashing Zeke and he picked him in the first round?
That was terrible timing for that. Honestly.
Terrible, terrible.
So I gave
Do you think
Clapton
his
an
wide
8.
receiver core is better?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Ridley, Cup, and Thielen over Allen, Lamb, Galladay, and we both. I think Boyd, Claypool, pretty similar.
Yeah, I think so.
Better.
So I would give you, Chris, an 8.5 and Clapton's an 8. So yeah, that makes sense. Carolina Cobain. Nick Chubb, Justin Jefferson, Chris Godwin, Chris Carson, Ayuk, Anderson, and Mooney. I mean, your wide receiver room after 2, so your 3 and your flex is not great, but that's not due to you not picking good players. So I can't really fault you on that. Mostert in the 9 is pretty good. Connor in the 10 is also pretty good. Ryan Edwards, I know people have been targeting him in the last couple of rounds. And then Tannehill in the last. I think this is another solid team. I would probably give it I would give it a 7.5/8 because I think your wide receivers are not as good as Clappins, but they have the ability to be, possibly. So I think it's borderline 8. I'll call it a 7 or 7.5, sorry.
We gotta start doing like decimal points, like 7.7. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm trying to be nice and fair at the same time. So we'll go Forest Creek, Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Hopkins, DJ Moore. Man, 3.9.
that's hella early.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's. Oh no, that's Carol. No, never mind. I thought it was Marquise, but it's Elgin. So I don't. Yeah, not even a homer pick. I'm not sure.
So then he backed it up with Kittle and Sanders, which I mean, if you're taking
Kittle
DJ
in the
Moore,
4th is insane value.
Yeah, Kittle at the 4.4, like
Right.
I mean, Waller at 3.10 is insane value. Kittle at 4.4 is
right.
really insane value.
Does
I
Kittle
would've-
play football anymore though? I mean,
What's that?
I said, does Kittle
Oh.
even play football anymore?
I heard he's injury prone. I
I
don't know.
heard he's been injured for a couple of years now.
Injury prone.
I probably would have skipped on Sanders and try to get someone in the 6th and try to go for one of those wide receivers that went after you. And then he went Justin Herbert at the 7, which I'm kind of avoiding taking a quarterback that early in Justin Herbert, but that's where he's going. And then sniped, was it Nick that loves Mike Williams?
No, that's Jeremy.
Jeremy.
That's Jeremy, okay.
He got the stack, man.
I know. So he's got a little bit of bonus for that. And then hitting it hard with the taking chances on wide receivers at the end. Let me think. Sanders as your 2 is fine, but compared to other guys' teams that have 2, I don't think it really stacks up as well. And then his wide receiver room is fine. DJ Moore is a stretch, though. I'd probably give this a 7. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, yeah, I mean, Moore. He got great value in Kittle, but Moore as a reach. Samuel.
Yeah, don't love Moore as a 2 and don't love Sanders as a 2.
And man, his running backs.
He's only got one backup, and it's Hines.
It's okay because running backs never get hurt. But if by some rare chance one of his running backs get hurt, I don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think a 7's fair.
Yeah.
So we'll go with Nick, Jones, Diggs, Waller. See how you do with a early tight end. Sutton and Judy are good.
The Denver stack right there, and Javante.
Yeah, he went all
And
over.
then we got Aaron Rodgers in the 12th. So now Nick knows something that we don't know.
Nick, this could be a legitimate We don't know.
Yeah, we could look back at this team and be like, oh my god.
Yeah, this was the greatest team ever drafted.
Ever drafted.
Any NBA
Ever.
mock drafts because he
It's
had
like the 99 Rams.
For real. So your wide receiver room looks pretty good, actually. Judy is your 3 and Corey Davis is your flex. Or you got Michael Carter in the 8, which is pretty good. This is a pretty good team. I would give this an 8. I think that's one of the better teams so far. He's not saying anything, so he's probably thinking of ways to kill me.
What was
Well,
that? Sorry.
I'm
What was
I'm
that? I was
guessing
kind of
with all
zoning
the-
out. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say with all the stuff we just said, he didn't respond. I'm guessing he's a.
Sorry. What were you? I really wasn't paying attention. Sorry. I
You
zoned
got,
out.
you got an 8, one of the best teams.
Oh
and
yeah.
And apparently you have some inside information where you know Aaron Rodgers is going to the Broncos because not only did you take the entire Denver offense, well, Sam's no fan, but you also got him in the last round. So we can only
All I'm
assume
gonna say-
we don't.
All I'm gonna say is that I recently got off the phone with the Denver Broncos front office. So
Yeah.
make of that information what you will.
they let you they let you into their Zoom meeting.
Yeah, I sent them my resume. I sent them screenshots of drafts and trades that I made. So yeah, it was a close
Nice.
discussion there with their Zoom call.
Okay, but you don't know anything, right?
No, I don't. Well, okay. Well, legally speaking, no, I don't know anything.
Okay, all right, perfect.
Trade secrets.
Well, on paper, you've got an 8, but in possibility, you've got like a 15. So,
Yeah.
See. We'll see.
so then we'll go with Pierre. Kelsey in the 1. Love to see that. And then you got your guy still, Metcalf. Then mixing it to 3.
But yeah, I just want to say something before you continue. I'm pretty sure at some point in the second round, Pierre said, and I loosely quote,
He's never drafting a running
going
back.
0 RB from ever for now on in our
Zero.
acres, and then
And then you choose Mixon of all running backs to break that promise about.
Yeah, look, I mean, I have to keep within the spirit of the league. So I technically drafted a running back who I've never drafted yet. So
In the spirit of your promise,
Which is-
that's an
I-
automatic 0. But in the grading, 3, that's kind of end of 3 is actually not bad for Mixon, considering people usually jump on him sooner than that. Then you got Johnson, Davis is good. Beckham is your 3. That's kind of rough. And then Edmonds and Sermon. I would have skipped on Edmonds and tried to go for another receiver for sure. Sermon's good at the 8. Problem is your needs of your team is more receivers. So then you were stuck at looking at receivers at the 9, which I like Marvin Jones. I think he has a legit shot to be the top receiver on that team. So I like that pick. Overall, I would say you have a 7-5 team.
it's probably lower than that, but that's okay. Today it's just like a hollow feeling inside.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
So really it's a 7 because I'm thinking Beckham and Edmonds, but because of your heartache, I will bump it up to 7-5.
You know, let's make it a 2.3. That way, the honor.
Oh,
2.3.
All right. My gray and long wing, he kept 1. Was he on here to draft or?
He was
I
on
think
here for most of it.
The only
so-
picks he didn't make were the Wilson Cooks picks.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say those are the best ones.
Thank you. I just picked the top players.
Chris, for your admin picks for him, that is a 9 out of 10.
Nice.
Okay. So then his other picks, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, 2 studs that will be fighting for number 1. J.K. Dobbins is your 1. And then backing up with Swift. Ooh. I seeing the way that wide receivers were going again, I would have gone receiver there. But I understand like wanting to get on the running back train and get that going, but then you pick Dobbins and Swift when you could have had Carson, Edwards, Montgomery, Jacobs, Gaskin, Henderson, Hunt, Sanders, Davis. I probably would have picked any of those guys over the two you picked. Etienne's a good pick, but again, there's no reason to pick him when you already had your two running backs. I would have picked a wide receiver. This is Russell Wilson and Cooks are great right there. Gesicki's good.
Thank you.
Zach Moss, I mean, you can take a chance on him, but I probably wouldn't have taken a chance on him that soon. Maybe 11 or 12 even. It feels weird to grade a team so low with Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams as their starters, but I would give this team a 6-5. That might be, I don't know, is that too mean?
Nah, you're grading. Whatever you think.
Well, once Aaron Rodgers leaves Green Bay, then that Devontae Adams pick is going to be a waste. So could be even lower.
Please let's not do that to my dynasty fantasy team.
If
I
we
can't
get-
take much more.
That's why I traded him away. I'm just saying.
They have a
wake up
0.7 out of
to an
10.
Aaron Rodgers trade or Aaron Rodgers saying I'm not playing football in 2021. Oh, Jeremy might we might never see Jeremy again.
Did you see the thing today about him turning down that 2-year contract extension?
That's
Yeah,
not new
like I
news
said,
though.
That was early in the off season when he was like all butthurt.
Oh, it was?
It's just Schefter trying to be a stupid fucking TMZ bullshit something to give himself attention and stir the pot. That's
Oh.
literally all that is.
I don't think
The thing today.
Well, I will say in his defense, I think the Packers posted something before, like just on their thing that like, hey, we offered a contract to Rodgers that made him this, and then Adam Schefter was like, well, you guys did offer him a contract that would have made like he just specified more of what that was, and that's what went they ESPN and then went off of. So it wasn't like Schefter reposted it. It was Green Bay responded to something, and then Schefter reposted pretty much the exact same thing he said 2 months ago.
Until we get an exact number and we get confirmation of that number from the team, I'm not believing it. I'm just not. I'm sure they did offer him an extension, but this whole it's going to make him pay more than Mahomes, I just have a hard time believing it. You're
I think
telling me that
it
a
would have
30
made him the highest paid between. So in the next 5 years, he would have gotten paid as much as Mahomes. And
I know, but sorry
we
to cut you off. I just have a hard time believing that 37-year-old Aaron Rodgers. Now, granted, yes, he did come off of a MVP year last year. He's a phenomenal quarterback. I don't doubt that. But I have a hard time believing that he's going to get paid more than Patrick Mahomes, who's both better and 12 years younger. I just have a hard time believing it.
That would definitely be dumb. to give Aaron Rodgers that kind of money would be very dumb.
I mean, at least
we
it was
haven't
for a
looked at
2-year
Green Bay and
contract
said,
not like a
these guys are
5-year.
making
Unless they had like voidable years.
such great decisions.
It was a 2-year contract. Like I don't see what's so crazy about that. It's not like they wanted to sign into like a 5 or a 6-year contract.
No, it was a
You know?
2-year extension on the contract that he's already on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're already under contract for however.
So they're saying like another 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
It would have been a
they were
5-year deal.
Okay.
Right? Would have made him a Packer for 5 more years.
yeah.
It'd be
That's
42, 43 when it's done.
Because
That's
apparently now that Tom Brady is playing this well into his 40s, everybody just plays this well in their 40s, right? Like everybody's gonna do it.
Everyone's like Tom Brady. He's just a model example.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah.
I was gonna say not even taking into account the fact that it's Tom Brady. Like Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, but like
Yeah.
Tom Brady, okay, it's not the same thing. But
So
yes, I gave him a 6.5. So if anyone wants to grade my team, that'd be great.
all right, who wants to grade Mikey's team?
I can grade him.
Go for it, Nick.
It's all right. We got Saquon at the 1.5. That's great. You got Brown, Woods, Higgins. I like all three of those wide receivers. Henderson at the 5-5. Obviously, the news regarding the Rams and regarding Akers is brand new, so it's tough to gauge exactly where he should go. But 5-5 seems reasonable and fair to me. You got Hawkinson. I like that. Robinson at the 7-5. I suppose that's fine for him. Looking at Landry, Aguilar, and Jamal Williams. I like that pick there. Stafford, Amon St. Brown, which is fine in the 12th. I think you got a pretty solid team all around. My only slight worry is maybe what you're going to do at flex. I mean, James Robinson could be fine, assuming Henderson's going to be pretty good and have a sizable role. There's a bit of a risk there. We don't know exactly how that situation is going to pan out for him. No Landry and Aguilar could be all right. You might want to play matchups there. So I would say this is a 7-5-8. So definitely a solid team. Some minor worries and question marks there, but I think you did a fine job overall.
Thanks, man.
All right, guys. Good draft. Hopefully Pierre can pull it together enough to film this video. It turns out
It's going to be hard.
He's just going to land that all day.
So are you guys literally going to get off here and pretty much redo a video? Is that the?
Yes. We literally. I'm not joking. We were like trying to think of a player to debate. We're like, let's do like a debate video where we're like interacting, debating, and we picked Cam Akers and we filmed it, and he tore his Achilles. So now we're doing Darrell Henderson. So I probably should try to trade Darrell Henderson right now if I can in our dynasty league, because this could be the kiss of death for Darrell Henderson too. We'll see.
This could be. I mean, right now.
Trading.
I mean, this could be like his highest value right now because people are going to react strongly.
It is his highest value, and if I didn't have the team I had, I would probably be shopping Darrell Henderson right now. And if I got an offer that was really good, I'd probably trade Darrell Henderson.
Well, hey, keep those DMs. Keep an eye on those DMs.
You know where to find me, Nick.
All right.
So I'm surprised you guys just didn't move on to like Gibson or someone who's I think is around in that area of Akers. So like,
well, Darrell Henderson's kind of a hot topic.
Hot topic. Yeah. I got it.
Topic right now.
We'll do Gibson
I think
next
you
week.
should still post the Cam Akers one in like in memoriam.
We could. Like, this is what we thought about Cam Akers.
Yeah, this is what we thought about.
Man.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
We'll let you get to it.
Good job.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we'll see you guys Thursday.